Alright, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Monday morning. Blessings to everybody watching in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed, guys. As Bitcoin right now is getting a little bit of a rejection from this key area of resistance. And the question on everyone's mind today is, are we going to get more of a pullback here? We're seeing some warning signs. As the title of the video says, warning signs for Bitcoin. Now, sit back, relax, grab your market cipher, pencil neck mug, take a sip. The green screen's glitching out a little bit today, guys, because it's so dreary and cloudy and foggy out that the natural light from my window isn't providing light for the dang YouTube stream. Which means, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. We got to give a major shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Shout out to In Code We Trust. Did you get a fresh cut? Yeah, man, I cut my own hair last night. There's still hair all over the bathroom floor. Shout out to Caddy. Good morning, y'all. Shout out to Flippa Frank. Shout out to MVK. People are funny if they think it's dumping. What normies? What normies? Normies don't think it's dumping, you silly goose. Normies don't think it's dumping, okay? Do you know who really thinks it's dumping? Do you know who really thinks it's dumping? It's us crypto YouTubers who think it's dumping. Do you know why we think it's dumping? Because we gotta make content every single day when the dang price doesn't move for like a week and a half. Alright, look at this, man. Look, we gotta say something, bro. We gotta say something. I mean, you want me to make a live stream every day, and we're dumping, baby. If we zoom into the low time frames right now, let's pop on over to the 1 minute. My goodness! Would you look at this massive downtrend, bro? Now, the normies out there, they know we're not dumping because they're hodling. Normies hodl, man. Normies just hodl their dang Bitcoin. But here's the deal, okay? We got to talk about what's happening here because there is a potential for some dump, okay? There's a potential for some dump. And one thing I do want to say here is the fact that if you are in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, we walked you through the whole process of when to actually expect the top to be in. All right, Casper Crew VIP Discord, I walked everybody through the fact that I was not in a short trade. We were walking through Market Cipher B, talking about how on the 24-minute time frame, I expected another move to the upside based on our money flow, and that next big push would be the high. All right, this is what we're walking through in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, and that next big push just so happened to be the high, and we are at a very key area of resistance. Now, here's the thing. When you come to key resistance, you got to be cautious. You got to proceed with caution, all right? Now, I got to give a major shout out, first of all, to WEEX. Lowest fees on a centralized exchange. It's where I'm currently shorting Bitcoin, but I also have to give a shout out to BLOFIN, where I'm still in my swing long trade here. BLOFIN right now is offering 10% cash back, multiple chances to win $100, $1,000 future bonus, all these juicy prizes, and 0% limit order fees, 0.04% market order fees if you use my link. Also got to give a major shout out to ANTARCTIC Exchange. ANTARCTIC Exchange, if you use my link, you get SVIP privileges, which basically means you get almost no fees. I mean, basically zero fees. Zero limit order, 0.015% market order. This is a decentralized exchange where you own the exchange. If you're trading on the exchange, you're not trading against market makers. You're trading against fellow traders who are all providing liquidity, which means when someone gets liquidated, you benefit. When someone pays a fee, you benefit. It's an exchange by traders for traders. All right. Also, got to give a major shout out to the Casper Crew because we have been giving you the long trades the whole way up from $86,000 all to the past few weeks, all right? And we told you when the top was in. All right, got to give a major shout to the Casper Crew. All right, now let's talk about what's happening right now, right here, with this juicy price action, because Bitcoin right now actually is coming down to a pretty key area of support locally, while also rejecting from a pretty key area of resistance more majorly, okay? Now let's see if we can smash the likes up, because we got 725 viewers. We got 200 likes. If we can get 1,000 likes, guys, in the first 30 minutes, I'm itching to give away $1,000. I am itching. You could tell by looking at me that I am itchy. Look at the sweat pouring out of my pores. Look at the chest sweat. The armpit sweat. Look at the sweat. I'm itchy all over. I just want to give away $1,000. So all you gotta do is like the dang video, all right? Major shout out to a beer. Major shout out to Jesse Gellick in every single dang live stream. Every crypto YouTuber in the world. Shout out to Cipher Gaming. Shout out to Yowzer Denkosaurus Rex. Shout out once again to J Violet, Froth Dog Billionaire, Stas D. All right. Shout out to Global Sacrifice and the Dusty Hunt. What's going on, Dusty Hunt? Shout out to Freedom Man. Shout out to Space Hustle Blue. I'm long now. Fair value gap plus correction. B wave has to start. All right. Let's pop into this juicy action. All right. Now again, we got to understand context. Major context here. While you're smashing the likes to get a $1,000 giveaway, the context of the market, guys, is bullish. Why? Because we're in a bull market. We got ourselves a trend line that's been tapped. 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th tap. Not only that, when we take a look here at Market Cipher B, what are we seeing? We are seeing the confirmed hidden bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. Historically, this has led to a big breakout and a higher high. So the weekly time frame is bullish. And not only is the weekly time frame bullish, but when we come down to like the 4-day, the 1-day, all these lower big time frames, they're not weekly, but they're still big, right? The 4-day, the 3-day, the 2-day, we are seeing the coveted uneven butt cheek pattern, full of gravy and ravioli, ricotta cheese. It's like when you're making a pizza, you know? You take the tomato sauce, so you put it on the left cheek, and then you take the garlic and the onion powder, you put it on the left cheek. You take the Italian seasoning, and you put it on the left cheek. The mozzarella, you put it on the left cheek. The parmigiana, the pecorino romano griciotto. On the left cheek. The right cheek is that vegan, gluten-free pizza you made for your wife, right? Because you and the kids, you're eating the pecorino romano, right? But your wife, gluten-free, fat-free, calorie-free pizza over here. Just kidding, my wife don't eat like that. But these are the two cheeks. This is known colloquially as a bullish divergence. So we got ourselves a bullish divergence. Wow, we also got a hidden bullish divergence. All signs pointing to Pump City. Now, bring in the next piece of the puzzle. The Bitcoin price right now is coming up to the first major resistance that we have in this move to the upside, which is none other than the golden pocket, the 618, the 0.65, confluence with the highest volume node that we have basically since Trump has won the election. All right. And we are seeing a bit of a rejection from here, or at least some local resistance. Now, why is this so important? When we look at the daily time frame, what are we seeing here? When we look at the 12-hour time frame, what are we seeing here, guys? What do you see here? Crap. It's the wrong screen this whole time. Crap! My goodness. My goodness. Wrong screen the whole time. Jason, you fool. You fool, you utter fool. Crap! My goodness. We have a weekly green dot. We have a 4-day bullish divergence looking like a dang uneven butt cheek pattern. But when we get to these lower time frames, as we're seeing a rejection from this area, I want to point something out to your attention. What do you see here? Now you can see it. What do you see here? We see the scary, the berry, upside down uneven butt cheek pattern. Where once again you have that big, juicy left cheek. Like you're making a pizza with the pecorino romano and the mozzarella. And you put it on the left side and you take the parmigiana and the tomato sauce and the gravy. Alright? And then the right side you have a skinny old, really skinny looking butt cheek. Okay, this is known as a bearish divergence here. We have it on the daily time frame. We have it on the 12-hour time frame. We have it on the 4-hour time frame. All right, what does this mean? In my opinion, based on my experience and what I feel is most probable, this means that we are going to get now a pullback. A pullback. Why a pullback? Well, because whenever price moves, it doesn't just go straight up, right? it goes up and then down a little, and then up and then down a little, and then up and then down a little. Jason, what do you mean? Well, let's just take a dang look at the chart going back to 2022 in the whole bull market. Up a lot, down a little, 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 right? That's just how the price moves. And when you're in an uptrend and you see bearish signs, that's where you expect at least some consolidazione. Speaking of the Italian, the pecorino romano, and the mozzarella, you expect a little consolidazione. All right? So we're seeing some upside down, uneven butt cheeks here at key resistance. The question is, well, how much of a pullback are we going to get? Well, looky here. Looky here, guys. All right? I think we can simplify this quite nicely. Looky here. When we're looking at price action, we need to ask ourselves two questions. Question number one, what would I like to happen? What would I like to happen? Why do you want to ask yourself this question? Now, to the untrained ear coming into this live stream, you might think to yourself, Jason, what a fool. First you show us the wrong screen, then you're telling us you should ask, what would I like to happen? You idiot! Now, hold your horses there, Charlie. When we're coming to the charts, we want to be asking ourselves, what would I like to happen? The reason why is because what we need to do is ask ourselves, what is most probable to happen? What are the scenarios that are most probable to play out so we can plan for taking action, right? Taking action. Like, for example, we knew that this level right here where we're rejecting from was key resistance. So we were planning for this area to get a rejection so we could take advantage of it. All right, so we were saying, what would I like price to do? I would like price to come up to this area and get a rejection. This is why in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, as price was coming to that area, which we were prepared for, we were watching carefully to see, do we have a reason to take a short? Earlier in that morning, there was no reason to take a short. Later on in the afternoon, we were starting to see what we wanted to see, watching the 24-minute market Cipher B. Money flow is starting to come out as we consolidate, which means the next push will have a nice divergence, right? So when we go to our 24-minute time frame, over here, we're saying it's too early to take a short, but we know we're at a key level. We're planning. What would I like to happen? I would like to get another push after consolidation and now have the bearish divergence, right? So we need to ask ourselves, what would I like price to do? Because if I say to myself or to the community, I would like to see consolidation and another push with a divergence, and then we get consolidation and another push with a divergence, guess what? Now I have a trade that I can take that I've planned for, and then you can capitalize on the move, right? We've gotten a move down thus far of, it ain't nothing to scoff at. If you took this trade, right, from the highs, you're up right now 4%. 4%, that's a lot if you're a day trader, okay? Not talking about you hodlers out there. We're talking about you traders out there. Not traitors, not betraying anybody. You're you're trading. You're buying and selling. You're coming to these markets to buy and sell, baby. All right? So that is what has happened here. We're getting moved down. And so, what would we like to happen? Well, it's very simple. The thing is, first of all, we are at local support. So we pull our local Fibonacci golden pocket. We go to the 1 hour time frame. And we can see that from the last low that we made right here on Thursday to the high that we made on Friday, we're at the Fibonacci golden pocket support. So this is an area that we need to be aware of as support. But if we're not going to hold the Fibonacci golden pocket, then here's the next level that we need to be aware of. We need to ask ourselves, what would wreck the most people? Well, right now, what would wreck very many people is if we actually came down and made a lower low, lower than Thursday's low. Why would this wreck so many people? Because a lot of people have been longing this consolidation on Thursday and Friday, expecting a bull flag and a breakout, and this would stop hunt everybody who's been long from there, right? So this is the first major area that we need to be aware of for a potential pullback, 91,600. And 91,600, I would say, could be extended to a zone like this. basically, when we take that low, we need to look for basically just a fake out of the low. Something like this, where you see the price come down below and then quickly come back above. That's like a fake out. Just, you know it's a fake out, right? Next, we need to be aware that this could fill very easily. This could fill very easily. Why? Because when you have a fast move up like this, you get an equally fast move down. Fall through this like a hot knife through butter. Through butter. Now, if we take a look at the volume here, what do you notice about this area? There's no volume here. What does that mean? It means there's no support when we come back down into the area. So if we get the move into the box and we don't get the fake out, we can expect to fill all the way back down to test the support resistance flip that we made right here before the breakout. Now, support resistance flip is also confluence with the value area low of the range. Alright? So, the value area low of the range, what does this mean? I tell you what this means, alright? The market has determined for the past few months, November, December, January, February, March, April, the last half a year. Can you believe it? It's been half a year since November. Cheese and crackers. My goodness. The market for the last half year has determined that this blue line right here, anything below here is actually considered undervalued for Bitcoin. It's considered cheap. So what that means now that we have lost this area and traded below it for some time, now we've gotten to move back up with bullish signs, if we come back down to this area, it's what's known as a retest. Why a retest? Because the market participants collectively, as they're buying and selling, are going to be testing whether or not we, as the buyers and sellers, still consider anything below this undervalued. If this line marks the area where anything below is undervalued Bitcoin, and we all agree now that, yeah, we should be trading Bitcoin at higher prices, this area is going to get a bounce because the market participants are going to look at this and say, ooh, cheap Bitcoin, let me get some. And that's going to cause a bounce. So we're testing, as a collective market, is this undervalued price still considered undervalued, right? It was considered undervalued all this time. Then for a while we weren't sure, but now we have bullish signs and a strong move to the upside. Now we're going to say, okay, is this move just hype? Or is it real? So basically 91.6, anything under 91.6, be looking for a fake out, and then we want to look at that actual value area low of the range. Those are the two areas right now I'm personally most interested in. Is there a chance to become lower than that? Yes, but we cross that bridge when we get there, and these are things I'm going to be talking about in the Casper Crew VIP live stream that's going to be happening later this morning as New York's opening. All right, JasonCasperTrading.com if you want to join the best community in the world. Now there's a few other things we need to be looking at. Number one, CME futures gap to the upside today. All right, what is a CME futures gap? Well, the futures market, the traditional futures market, the CME market, trades Bitcoin futures, and they don't trade on the weekends. I know, it's so weird, right? They have these things, normal traders that trade traditional markets, like they have these things called lives and families and friends. And guess what? This one blew my mind. They do things other than look at the chart. I couldn't believe it either. I couldn't believe it, but look, I know it's true because I met one of these guys once, all right? So they take the weekend off, all right? I know. Oh, crazy. And so when they take the weekend off, the market actually closes. So when that Friday candle closes, it closes up here at the price of 97,500. Now, when the Monday candle opens and Bitcoin dumps over the weekend, look at how it leaves a gap in the candles, right? Friday candle closes up here. The Monday, whoa, what is that? That's the YouTube video. The Monday candle opens right down here. It leaves a gap in the chart. Now, a lot of times these gaps do fill, right? So, don't be surprised if we see this gap fill. Now, look at this. Last week, Bitcoin pumped over the weekend. leaving behind a gap to the downside at 91.6. Isn't that crazy? What does this mean? As we're looking at our chart and we're saying, where are the key levels? What would I like to happen? We can see that there's a long opportunity, potentially, if things look bullish here. Again, remember, it don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek, right? It means that as we come down to this area, there's an area of support, the CME futures gap, mixed with a liquidity grab, a stop hunt. This is something to be aware of. Secondarily, what do we see? We see a CME gap to the upside, which means if we get a pump, like when New York opens, and we fill this gap, we also need to be prepared for something like this to happen. All right, if we go ahead and pull our Fibonacci from the high to the current low, you can see that that CME futures gap is right on the Fibonacci golden pocket, right? So if you're looking for local moves today, and it is False Move Monday, you guys know how False Move Monday goes. You ever have a false move? I had a false move this morning, all right? Leg day, squat day. Going for a heavy set of 6 squats, deep, right? Get under the bar, unrack the weight, take a few breaths, a few steps back, deep breath, brace the core, engage the glutes, and on the way down, something happened. I felt something down at the back door trying to come out. Whoa, am I about to poop my pants in the squat rack? Hurry up, re-rack the weight, run upstairs, boom, 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 boom. Go into the bathroom, shut the door, lock it so the kids don't come in. Pull the shorts down, boom, sit in the toilet. Guess what happens? Pure flatulence. Nothing of substance. False Move Monday. Could the same thing happen with Bitcoin where we don't actually get a real move, but we just continue to trade in the range, which is price action's version of farts? Just farting around? Yeah, it could happen. So, locally, I'd say these two CME gaps are areas of confluence to be aware of. All right. Now, again, just to reorient us, the higher time frames are bullish. The weekly is bullish. But as we come down, we're seeing local signs that a retracement is coming. So this week, my bias is that we probably chop, and then get a little bit of a retracement, and then start to get a move to the upside. We also cannot forget the fact that this Wednesday, FOMC statement. Now, I will be going live, all right? I will be going live for this press conference and announcement, so don't miss it at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. New York time. Man, it's gonna be a banger of a stream. But when you have federal funds rate statement, and here's the thing, they're expecting, guys, no change, no cut. They're expecting no cut. I don't expect anything more than just short-term volatility from this announcement. And I'm also assuming there's going to be no rate cut, no rate increase, just keeping it all the same. But whenever Jerome Powell flaps the old lips coming out of the closet to tell us about the United States fiscal policy and his outlook on the market moves. And oftentimes it's a catalyst to facilitate a move that we already see a brewing on the chart. Now, right now, what move do we see brewing on the chart? We see a potential dump to key support with an overall higher term time frame bullish bias. So within 2 days, that's going to happen. And remember, Wednesday, often, not always, but often, is the weekly high or low. All right? The weekly high or low. Not always, but often. Look at what happened last Wednesday. It was a nice pivot low here before 2 days of pump, right? Let's look at the Wednesday before that. We actually made a pivot high before a little bit of a dump. So Wednesday oftentimes is the weekly high or low, but even if it's not the weekly high or low, the Wednesday often marks like a change for the rest of the week. So if we start to dump from here, let's say False Move Monday, Chop City, or whatever, and then we end up with something like this, substantial, Tuesday and Wednesday. If we're down here on a Wednesday, guys, we have to understand, we got the bear div that needs to play out, but we're looking for bounces, right? I'm looking for bounces. I mean, you could look for whatever you want. You could look for bounces. You could look for dumps, whatever you want. Now, let's be honest as well. If we lose $89,500, which is the value area low, then we have to cross that bridge. Okay. Now remember, when I'm looking for trades, I'm looking for specific things. I'm not just longing or shorting levels based on the level. That's not how I trade. I trade based on if-then scenarios. All right. If the price comes to 86.4, you know, back on April 21st, and my indicator, Market Cipher B, the best indicator in the world. All right. That's why I drink coffee from my MarketCipherTrading.com mug. If Market Cipher has my confirmations and we're at the level, then we take a trade. Boom, perfect entry, right? If we come to this area and Market Cipher looks like that, then we take the trade. Boom, perfect entry. You know? And so, you know, a level doesn't mean anything, right? We were at that resistance on Friday and Thursday, but I wasn't ready to short yet. I'm not short yet. We're at the POC. We're at the level. You acknowledge you're at the level. I just don't like how bullish Market Cipher B looks. I prefer a consolidation and then another pump to give better bear divergence. We're watching. We're still at the place. I'm watching the 24-minute. Money flow starting to come down as we consolidate. This means the next push will have that nice div. And then we get that next push and we had the nice div, and that's where we start to come down. So again, when we're marking out these levels, and I'm telling you, this is where I'm looking for a trade, you have to understand, what does it mean I'm looking for a trade? When I was a new trader, I used to hate that. Come on, YouTube, I'm looking for a long. Well, are you long or not, you idiot? Tell me, because I'm here for signals. I'm here for signals, you long or not? What do you mean you're looking? I mean, come on. There's only 2 buttons, buy and sell. Make up your dang mind and let me know. All right? It doesn't quite work like that. You know you're at resistance, but you can't just short. You need a reason. Same deal as we're looking at these levels to the downside. We know we're at support. We can't just long. We need a reason, right? So for me, the reason typically is the uneven butt cheek pattern, the bullish divergence, or the upside down uneven butt cheek pattern. When I see these patterns, I get more excited than the time me and Carl from the moon drove to McDonald's in his Maserati and my chicken. It was crazy, but it really depends on what happens at these levels. So if we don't see anything juicy that would allow me to get into a long from here, which I will be updating the Casper Crew VIP Discord along the way to let people know my thoughts. All right. And we're going to be doing a VIP stream later on this morning for New York Open, where I'm going to be going over my exact trading plans for the day. JasonCasperTrading.com to join the best trading community in the world. But look, we lose this level down here. Then we have to acknowledge that we are back into the old fair value zone. And once we're back in the old fair value zone, we would expect, it's most probable, we come back down to 84K. This is why in the poll I asked, where are we coming to? 91K for support? Or we're going to lose that and come down to 84K? Or we're going to lose that and come down to 77K? These then become our next key levels if we lose that. And so what we do is we let price do its thing. We don't chase price. We let price do its thing. We recognize the key zones, the key levels, and then when the price is there, we make a decision about whether or not to take a trade or take no trade based on what our indicator is telling us, right? So we lose 89.5, then we would be looking for the $84,000 POC to give us a bounce. We lose that, we'd be looking for the $77,000, $78,000 level. Now, why would I still be bullish if we're losing key support here, right? That's a valid question. Jason, why would you still be looking for long trades if we're rejecting from the macro Fibonacci golden pocket and we're losing key support? Why would I still be bullish here? The reason I would still be bullish is because, in my view, the weekly, the 4-day, the 3-day, the 2-day, and the 1-day are all bullish, and they're just telling us we need a retracement to make a higher low. In addition to this, if we go to our weekly time frame, we have changed market structure on our weekly time frame from bearish to bullish. We had a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, and now if we take off the candles from the chart, right, and we just look at the yellow line, right, let's see here, can I hide that? Yeah. we just look at this yellow line, what do we see? We see that we've changed the trend. This was our lower high, now we're making a higher high. So the market structure's bullish, the high time frames are bullish. Things are telling us we're switching back to bullish market structure as we're bouncing from a key trend line of support. But we do need that pullback. And if we get a pullback, even back down into this lower range here, look at how this would just be a nice rounded bottom, right? We're still making a higher low. We're still maintaining that bullish market structure. We still have our lower low. Then we have our first higher high. We're looking for that higher low. It's still a higher low, even if we're back down here, right? It's like that nice rounded bottom, right? Those nice rounded bottoms where price is changing market structure. We have nice bottom signals on the high time frames, and we're getting a little bit of a pullback, right? That's all it is. So that's why I would still be bullish if we came down there. Now, there's a few other things that could happen. Remember, I have many different scenarios I'm prepared for. These are some of them, but I would say this. Let's just say this. Let's say something crazy happens where we do get much more of a dump than people want. Just keep in mind that we still have the mother of all supports, which is basically going to be, yeah, look at this. The golden pocket, the value area high, the POC of this previous range. I mean, we still have the mother of all supports, which we did front run down here. In the event that this does happen and we do hit that support, I would be so dang bullish and ready to long because our weekly time frame would have a bullish divergence, uneven butt cheek pattern. The weekly, guys. And all these other time frames, like the 4-day, would have another massive drive of divergence. Our daily time frame would have a massive divergence with the money flow going from purple into blue. To me, even this would look very bullish as I extrapolate the current data on Market Cipher B to what it would probably look like in the future. All right, now this takes experience, but when you can learn how to extrapolate what Market Cipher B would probably look like in the future, that can give you an edge, right? This is how I was able to avoid taking an early short because I didn't like how it looked at the moment, but I was able to extrapolate that what would be nice would be consolidation and then another pump to give better divergences, right? So right now we can extrapolate that even if this bearish div gives us a lower low, we're still, number one, trading this sideways range here, all right? So we're not really losing anything crazy. Number two, we're coming down to super good support. And number three, we would have a very, very bullish divergence on the weekly, the 5-day, the 4-day, the 3-day, the daily, like all the time frames would be bullish down to this level. I'm extrapolating that. Does it have to be bullish? No. We might have such a slow, painful move to the downside that takes all summer, right? It's possible. Like, it's possible that, you know, here we are May, and then, you know, June, and we range here. We don't do it, you know, July. And by this time, because the oscillator has to print no matter what, right? The oscillator makes tops and bottoms no matter what. This time it takes so long that this oscillator is coming down, 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 and we're not getting bullish divergences because it takes so long. It's also possible, okay? But assuming this bull div, this bear div on the daily plays out fast within the next few weeks or so, or even days, if we happen to tap below our current low at 74.6, it's gonna be the juice, man. The juice, the purple drink. All right, it's gonna be the purple drink, which I love. I used to love me. I don't know if you guys did this, but look, I used to be very overweight in high school, and I'd come home from school, and I would make myself a whole dang pitcher of Kool-Aid myself, drink it myself. Ugh. Man, I was so fat. I'm surprised I didn't have diabetes. I probably did have diabetes back then. Who knows? Honestly. But man, that was good stuff. I used to drink Kool-Aid, and I used to eat cheddar cheese right from the block. Ow! It's good stuff, man. Talk about mass gainer. some fat and some sugar right there. Fat and sugar. Good for you, right? Saturated fat and simple processed sugar. Can't get better than that, can ya? We got a super chat in the house. Shout out to Crypto Scarface. The expansion leg can go much higher, especially on the higher time frame before a retracement. That's true too, Crypto Scarface. So look, I'm just giving you guys potential scenarios here. CryptoFace says this expansion could go much higher. Look, technically speaking, Crypto Scarface is right, but the reason why I'm leaning bearish here is because of the bearish divergences. But Crypto Scarface says we could go much higher. Here's the thing. And I've been saying this all last week. And I was also thinking to myself and saying, if we close the weekly candle above 97, then 105 is our target. But so far, we're rejecting from the area. So I expect pullback. But yeah, let's say we just chop here. Yeah, I mean, honestly, chop here simply it could be something like this. We don't have to get a big pullback. We might just consolidate. But once we're above 97, we will get vacuum sucked up to this area. Just like how once we're above 89.6, we get vacuum sucked up to the POC. Right? Thank you for the super chat, Crypto Scarface. God bless you, bro. In Jesus' name, may the Lord bless you and protect you. May he shine light upon you. May he have grace upon you. May he turn his face towards you and give you wholeness. May he do that to all of us. A gallon pitcher Kool-Aid. Yeah, man, that's the way to do it. You like the purple liquid too. It's called Australian Barossa Shiraz. You're drinking it now. Shout out to Sunshine Girl. Yeah, that was good stuff. Mikey says sugar makes his nipeles sensitive. All right, interesting. Interesting. There's no way we slowly grind all summer. Yeah, I don't think so either, Alex. I'm just saying, like, what I'm looking for, which would be very bullish. I'm saying that's what I'm extrapolating to happen, but it doesn't have to happen. That's my only point, is like, we can extrapolate things to happen. Doesn't mean they have to happen, right? So, the only way it wouldn't look bullish down there is if it took us a long time to get there, you know? Because, like I said, the oscillator has to print no matter what. So if we're doing nothing, the oscillator's still going to print tops and bottoms, right? Still going to print tops and bottoms. I mean, look at this. We literally did nothing here. The oscillator's printing bottoms. The oscillator's printing tops. The oscillator's printing bottoms. The oscillator's printing tops. And we're just ranging here, right? So that's my point. The only way it wouldn't look bullish is if we just grind slow, you know? So right now, I have to be high time frame bullish, medium time frame bearish. Looking for a bit more of a pullback this week based on our confirmed bear divs. The 2-day red dot confirmed here. You know? And honestly, this just looks like really nice. Like the next trigger wave on the 2-day is going to give us that nice big push. Alright? Next trigger wave on the 2-day, nice big push. We had our bullish divergence here. Right? We had our bullish divergence here. That next trigger wave on the 2-day, that's our next big push. Right? The low of this range. Bull div. We print the top. Next trigger wave, that's our big push. The big push. I know a lot of people hate this smooth jazz song. I like the smooth jazz, you know? But we'll put on something a little bit more epic here. Is CryptoFace in the house? Shout out to CryptoFace and Dano Crypto. We got CryptoFace in the house right now? We'll see him. But if we got Dano Crypto in the house right now, I don't see him either. Well, shout out to CryptoFace. Shout out to Dano Crypto. Guys, if you haven't seen CryptoFace's newest video, go watch. Go watch. I'll give you a little hint what it's about. We got our pencil neck turkey coffee mug. And let me tell you, this is the best mug I've ever had in my life. Had this mug since 2022. I've drinking from it pretty much every day since then. And I can't imagine life without it. Alright? Shout out to Alex O in the chat. God bless you, man. Shout out to HFG in the house. God bless you, bro. CryptoFace just started a stream. Oh, he did. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Cool, cool. Yeah, that was the best face reveal ever, man. That was so funny. That was so funny. I lost it, man. I lost it. I was taking a pee when I was watching it, and man, I laughed so hard. I sprayed pee everywhere. Brrr. Got all over the walls and the windows and everything, man. It took me like 3 hours to clean that. Shout out to Yanor B. Shout out to Steve B. Shout out to RC Bigmore Manic. What kind of treadmill do I have? I got myself a nice... They don't sell it anymore on Amazon. But this is an LSRZ Sport treadmill. They don't sell it anymore on Amazon, alright? So... I don't know what to tell you, but... It was just the cheapest one I could find, really. The cheapest one that didn't look like it was going to fall apart in 1 second. That's the one I got. But look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as it works. Shout out to Ali. Break Resistance. Shout out to Sunshine Girl. Shout out to Orshak. God bless everyone. God bless you. What's my take on Solana? I think Sol is going to follow... the corn, right? Make sure to smash up the dang likes, guys. Man, we've been struggling with the likes lately. It's hard to get the likes up, but one day, I know we're streaming early. We got to get the algos back here, and half the country's asleep. But you know, it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm gonna be heading out. Make sure to check out the VIP live stream in an hour in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. And we're going to be going over our low time frame setups and plans for the whole week. All right? If you want to be trading, check out WEEX, check out BLOFIN, check out ANTARCTIC, check out BITUNIX. And with that being said, may the Lord bless you all in Jesus' name. And I will see you guys, Lord willing, tomorrow. Peace.